Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Piper Review. So, I want to talk about a movie I just finished watching called 12 Angry Men. Now, it's an older movie, and there have been remakes of it. Um, there is a foreign film remake of it, and there's also a play regarding it. I have not seen the play, but I have watched the original film, and it's an older one. It's black and white, and most people, and myself included, have kind of a bias towards old movies. Not necessarily that we don't like them, it's just that they are not as impactful and not as, I guess you could say, full of action as today's are. Just the effects and the acting, it does not equate what we are used to today. However, this film was very, very well done. Me personally, I like books. I like a lot of books. And one of my favorite type of books is courtroom drama, legal thrillers. And but I like the courtroom scenes, especially. And this 12 Angry Men, the whole point of this story is you follow these 12 men that are jurors and you don't know anything about the case. Like the movie starts with them going into the jury room, getting instructions on either finding a teenage kid 18 years old, either guilty or not guilty of murdering his father. And initially, they do a vote to kind of see where everyone stands. And it was 11 to 1 guilty versus not guilty. Only one person thought he was not guilty. And throughout the film, now you can watch this film on YouTube, and I recommend you do because it's very good. And on YouTube, I believe it's sped up just to kind of bypass copyright claims. It's only an hour and 15 minutes. And I know people see older movies and they see an hour and 15 minutes and they think, okay, I don't want to watch this, but I highly recommend it because it is very, very good. Anyways, so in it, one person thinks he is not guilty. And throughout the movie, he tries to persuade others why he has a doubt, why he has a reasonable doubt. And you discover throughout the movie that many of the reasons why people are viewing this kid as guilty was to their own personal prejudices, their own personal biases. For instance, one guy had a falling out with his son. So he was so angry at his son that when he saw this kid murder his father, he wanted to believe it. And in essence, he wanted to find the kid guilty, which would send him to the chair to be executed. So, I mean, you see a lot of biases like that, but what this film does, and it's brilliant how it does it, is it helps delineate the trial process, the process of the jurors, what they go through and what they have to think about. Like, there was more to it. There was deeper things that happen in a court case that you really have to focus on, that you really have to think about. I mean, at its foundation, at its not foundation, at its superficial effect, for lack of a better phrase, it appears that the kid is guilty. Okay, here's why. A neighbor said she saw the kid stabbing his father. Another neighbor said he heard the body hit the floor, and then he ran to the door. He hustled to the door and he saw the kid running down the stairs of the apartment complex, leaving the room. So when they actually think about that, it appears that the kid is guilty. But as time goes on in the film, the more jurors start to talk about it, they bring up how, like, yeah, but that older man, he was limping on the way to the stand. He was limping, so he couldn't run. So when he said 15 seconds, was that accurate? So they bring like in a flow diagram of the apartment, and they kind of do like a little test in it. They kind of try to determine whether it was possible or not for the man to say he saw the alleged killer 15 seconds after he heard the body hit the floor. And when they did the test, it was 41 seconds, and they kind of tried to imitate him. Likewise, now I kind of really don't want to, I guess, give away the more spoilers of it, but it's very, very good. I highly recommend you watch it because it really depicts just how it is important, especially in court cases, and not just regular court cases, but especially when it's a murder trial, to actually think through all of the various theories. Don't just take things at face value. Try to determine exactly what. Try to read in between the lines. I mean, another good one was people, a couple of them, wanted to believe the kid was guilty right away. And they even tried to make it sound like, well, yeah, the defense didn't really prove that he was innocent. And one of the jurors had to bring it up. The burden of proof isn't on the defense. It is on the prosecutor. The defendant can sit and not say a word. He doesn't have to prove himself innocent. The state has to prove he is guilty. And it kind of goes over that as well. And like the woman, the other neighbor, like she wore glasses, but she apparently didn't have glasses on at court trial, and it was far more entertaining than I thought it would. Now, I first heard about it. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I'm listening to an audiobook. I forgot the name of it, but it's a courtroom drama. Actually, let me look in case one of you guys want to read it. It's called Special Circumstances by Sheldon Stiegel. And in it, he references the movie 12 Angry Men. So, you know me, I'm really inquisitive by nature. I looked it up and I saw it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll check Netflix. And it wasn't on Netflix. The foreign adaptation was, but this one wasn't. So I went on YouTube, and luckily I was able to find it. And I watched it, and I was kind of blown away. I'll be honest. I turned it on, and it was kind of just going to be background noise for me. I was going to be kind of messing around with other stuff and just, have the movie playing, but not really watching it. But after a few minutes, I actually started doing nothing but watching it. I stopped doing my other writings. I write a lot, and I stopped doing that, and I focused on the movie because it had so many different values and so many different themes to explore. It really, really perfectly depicted the prejudice and the personal biases that we as humans have, and how we can try to manipulate and how we can view certain circumstances in our own ways, our own confirmation bias, that what we believe has to be true because we have an example here, like so-and-so, like this kid murdering his father. And it's obvious this kid murdered his father because, as one juror said, he knows these kids. He knows these kids. These are troubled kids. He's grown up with them. He knows them all. And there are very large amount of jurors that have their own confirmation biases that they are trying to determine, they are trying to ascertain. And they're using this in this trial. And wow, I mean, I read some of the comments on the video, and people were saying I had to watch this for class, I had to watch this for homework, and this is one movie that I wished I was able to watch in high school or middle school. I would have loved watching this movie and writing about it. I remember I watched like To Kill a Mockingbird, and I read that, and I think we did watch A Time to Kill, which is pretty good. That's by John Grisham too. That's a good book. The movie's pretty good too. It's a little bit different than the book, but the movie is really good too. But yeah, this is a very, very good film, and it has just a powerful, very powerful storyline and very powerful themes, and it really opens the door how what we initially perceive could be wrong. And even if it's not wrong, it is important to explore those avenues. It is important to question what we believe and try to dig deeper, try to define, try to determine if there is something we are missing. Because it is that important. It is that important to stay open, to have an open mind, to be willing to listen to other viewpoints, to be willing to dive deep into a story, even if it neglects, even if it negates our confirmation biases. It is that important, and this film brilliantly portrayed that. I highly recommend it, and I'm probably going to watch the play next. You can watch the play on YouTube as well. I watched the film, and I probably watched the play because I am curious to see how they do it as well. So, very, very good film. I recommend it. And for all those who don't know, This is my second channel. My primary channel is called The Piper Report, which will probably be called PolitiHub soon. But anyways, The Piper Report on YouTube, where I do all other kinds of videos, politics and news, things of that nature. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. I will put the link in the description. But yes, check this movie out and be sure to check out The Piper Report. All right, and I'm done.